The light by the window. Tonight, the wind picks up. The early November breeze carries the scent of dry grass and the rustle of the last autumn leaves brushing against the old wooden window frame. Richard drives slowly down the dirt road leading back to the countryside where he grew up, the quiet little town of Maple Hill, nearly 3 hours from the city. It's been 40 years since he last came home. The village remains unchanged, serene, still, and full of memory. Richard is no longer the young man he once was. Now in his 60s, his hair is dusted with silver, his eyes sunken with time, and his hands have lost their youthful steadiness. Yet deep inside, he is still the little boy who used to sit by the window, waiting for his mother to return from the distant fields. His car stops in front of a 2-story wooden house blanketed in ivy. The roof is worn, the porch steps sag with age, but the light by the window still shines. A gentle amber glow, just like it did 40 years ago. He stands there quietly, not yet ready to go inside. In that moment, it feels as if his mother is still alive, waiting for him to come home for dinner, her green pea soup and warm cornbread. All he would have to do is open the door, call out, "Mom, I'm home," and everything would be just as it was. This was the house where Richard grew up with his mother, Mary Ellsworth, a strong widowed woman who lost her husband Henry in a logging accident when she was only 33. From then on, Mary raised her son alone, taking on every job she could, gardening, sewing, teaching at the village school. Every evening, she would leave the light on by the front window until her son returned home. "Wherever you are, whatever you're doing, if you see this light, you'll know I'm here, waiting for you," she once told him on a cold winter night when he got home late from piano lessons. For Richard, that light became a symbol of love, patience, and quiet comfort. Richard left Maple Hill at 18 to attend college in the city. At first, he returned often, but life, work, and marriage slowly pulled him further away. Still, his mother wrote to him, her hand shaking, but her penmanship always neat. In every letter she never scolded, only shared bits of her quiet life, her garden, the old cat Daisy, village gossip. She always ended the same way. "I still keep the light on every night. Come home whenever you're ready." There was a wooden box of letters she sent, ones he never opened. He kept it tucked away in a drawer, unread for decades, too afraid of what he might feel. When she passed away from a sudden stroke, Richard didn't make it back in time. By the time he arrived, she had already been laid to rest beside Henry in the lavender field behind the house, just as she'd wished. The wind rattled the window pane gently. Richard stepped onto the porch and pulled out the old key, which a kind neighbor had kept all these years. The door creaked open with a familiar sound. Inside, everything was just as he remembered: the ticking of the grandfather clock, the oak dining table, his mother's bookshelf filled with romantic novels, and the rocking chair where she used to sit and knit on winter afternoons. The light by the window was on. Not because someone forgot to turn it off, but because Mary had once installed a timer. And Richard had never disabled it. For over 10 years, long after she passed, the light still came on each night at 6 o'clock. Sitting by the window, Richard began to cry, quiet, weary tears. For the promises he never kept, for the unopened letters, for the meals he no longer remembered the taste of. And for himself, a man who thought he had grown strong enough to live without home. That night, the wind felt strangely gentle. Richard imagined he could hear the soft clicking of his mother's sewing needles, the creak of her chair, and even her voice from the kitchen, "Would you like some cornbread and peach jam?" He walked into the kitchen and opened the old refrigerator, empty. But in his mind, the smell of warm bread still lingered. Upstairs, he found his childhood room. The same pillow, the wool blanket his mother had knitted, and a photo of the two of them, taken on Christmas Day, 1983. He had just been accepted to college. His mother's smile in that photo still shone brightly, even after all these years. The next morning, Richard walked to the back of the house, to his mother's grave. He sat there for a long time, reading each of her letters. Some made him weep, some made him laugh, little bits of humor he hadn't known she had, and one was only a single line: "I love you. The rest doesn't matter." That day, he decided to stay a little longer. He fixed the porch roof, swept the fallen leaves, lit incense by her old altar, and most importantly, changed the bulb in the window light. A new, energy-saving bulb with the timer set just like she had it. The light would continue to shine, night after night. A week later, before leaving Maple Hill, Richard left a note taped just beneath the window lamp. This light was once lit each night by a mother who waited for her son to return. If you ever feel lonely, lost, or simply need a small light to remind you that you are loved, please stop here and rest for a while. Someone somewhere may still be waiting for you on the other side of the glow. 3 months later, an elderly couple driving through Maple Hill got caught in a snowstorm. A local pointed them to an old house, the one with the light that never turned off. They stayed the night there, grateful for the warmth. They found the note under the window. The wife began to cry. She had just lost her mother. And somehow that simple light felt like a message from beyond: I'm still here. To this day, the light by the window still shines. Not because Richard hasn't come home, but because it became something more. A quiet symbol of enduring love, untouched by time. Someday, someone else will see that light. They'll pause, sit quietly, and feel a little less alone in the night. And perhaps you, the one hearing this story now, have had a light like that in your life too.